Hi there everyone, it's Missy here. Thank you so much for joining me today. So as you can tell by the title of this video, I got an update for you. Before we get started, if you're new here, hello, my name is Misty. This is my little corner on the internet where I share my life, dealing with chronic illness, dealing with autoimmune diseases, dealing with all the things, and trying to remain keto carnivore as we go. So in this video, we're not going to talk about weight loss at all. And I'm going to make a comment about that in just a second. It's mostly going to be about like what happened at the cardiologist and what's happening going forward, those kinds of things. So yeah, if that's not something that you're interested, feel free to X out and have a good day. I got a comment on my last video that was talking about like, are we just going to ignore the elephant in the room regarding like my weight? Here's the thing. The mass I take up on the earth has nothing to do with my other diseases. It didn't cause my autoimmune diseases. It didn't cause my back issues. That's genetic. So I don't concern myself with the numbers on the scale. I track it. I pay attention to it, especially now when I'm getting medications based on my weight. But to me, it's way more important to get these diseases figured out so I know that I can be active and, have some kind of quality of life. So excuse me if a fat person on the internet isn't focused on losing the number on the scale. I'm losing inches. Like this is another shirt that's going to have to go in the donation bin. I bought 3X sweaters from Target. They're all too big. They're going to have to go in the donation bin. I am leaving 24 jeans and moving into 22 jeans. So things are happening with my body. And at the end of the day, the number on the scale doesn't tell you anything. It's not a signifier of my health. So there's that little spiel. Okay. So I think I posted a little story. I don't know if I did it or not. But I went to the cardiologist like expecting doom and gloom. So I'd gotten a call from the nurse the week before and she was like, I don't really understand what this is about and I can't answer any questions, but here's what he said. Here are the results. And I was just like, what? And like seriously, I thought there was something seriously wrong with my heart. I got online, looked at the results. Some of them were really in the red and I was like, oh my gosh, there's something really wrong with my heart. Rob and I got ready for that appointment and I was like, we have to brace ourselves for bad news. I said, I just, from what I can see, this may not be a great visit. And we got in there and he said, your heart is fine. And I was like, oh my God. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I don't know if you guys remember it, but back in 2017, when I was going through all the testing for, to find out, to finally diagnose the myasthenia, I had someone call me and tell me that I had, she was like, don't Google it, but if you have a neuromuscular junction disorder, think along the same lines of like muscular dystrophy, ALS, multiple sclerosis. And I was just like, I don't have to Google that. And I sat in worry and fear for 30 days thinking that I had ALS and I was going to die. So I was just so stinking frustrated. I was like, I told her, I was like, next time don't call me. I'll just let y'all know, don't call me. I'll come in and see you. So yeah, so my blood pressure for the month of November was a little elevated. My last appointment with my endocrinologist was the end of October and it was like 118/72. Since then, it's been in the high 140s, 150s at the top, and at the bottom, it's been in the 90s. So it's been elevated. Some of that is stress, probably a lot of that is stress. A lot of that was anxiety. I mean, I started the ivig. I'd never done that before. I wasn't sure what to expect. I was seeing a cardiologist and worried about my heart. So I've been dealing with a lot of stress and that will cause your blood pressure to be up. But, he and I talked and I said, I see my doctor on Monday. I'm going to ask him to put me back on anti-anxiety meds. I took them for most of 2015 and 2015. And then I didn't need them in 2016. And then I started them again in 2017. So I think I'm going to ask him on Monday. I see him on Monday if he'll do that. And I told the cardiologist, if the anxiety medications don't lower it, then I want to get me on high blood pressure pills let's do a nuclear stress test and just check everything. Just make sure everything's okay and everything's doing well. So that was the cardiologist. So I think my last video, I talked about my white blood count being low. And so we put off my RA infusion until after Thanksgiving. So my nurse called and she's like, do you think you're ready to have the infusion? And I said, I don't know. I said, when I had my blood test done, I said my white blood count had only come up 1,000. I said, so I don't know if that's something I can do. So she said she wants you to come down to the downtown Dallas office. Thank you very much. And because they have a lab there, and she wanted me to do a CBC, a stat CBC. So if I was, if they'd come up, then I would be okay to get the infusion. So that happened last Tuesday. Yes, Tuesday. I took an Uber. Because I can't drive that far. I'm good for about maybe 2 miles, but then the arms in my muscle get too tired for me to hold my arms up to hold the steering wheel. My leg gets way too tired to try to hold the brake or the accelerators. So I just don't do it because it's just not safe. So I took an Uber there. I'd never been to that office before, so I took my rollator because the office is huge. The building is huge. It's right across the street from Baylor, the big Baylor, like off of Washington Street, downtown Dallas. So I took my rollator, and I'm glad I did because I needed it. It was a huge building. So I saw I don't know if she's a physician's assistant or a nurse practitioner, and she was checking all of my joints and stuff. She's like, yeah, you're really swollen. So I had pain where I've never had pain before. So I was having a lot of like tenderness and pain here, but I had some sharp shooting pain right here. I don't know if you can see that vein. I don't know if you've ever had a vein burst, but that's what it felt like. It was like sharp and shooting. It wasn't consistent, but with this joint being swollen and this like being swollen and hurting, and I've had swelling in both my hands. This one, the swelling has gone down just a little bit, but I also have a knot on my knee. I don't know where it came from. So I was ready. I was ready to have the infusion. So I had that on Tuesday, and then I have ivig scheduled this week. So I'm filming this on the 6th. On Wednesday I'm supposed to have the first of 2 days, so it'll be the 8th and 9th. It was supposed to be the 8th and the 9th. My nurse called today. He broke his finger and he's gonna have surgery on Wednesday, so we may have to. It's editing me, sorry. Okay, so I am scheduled for tomorrow, which is the 7th. She's gonna be here at 9 a.m. So I'll do tomorrow, and I'll do Wednesday. I'm a little, because I drink water all day, every day, but I try to load up on water when this is about to happen. So we'll see. We see how she gets a vein tomorrow. I am going to put a heating pad on my hand to see if I can get a vein to pop up easier. But yeah, so it's tomorrow, the 7th and the 8th. Reschedule that, and that's okay. I finally got access to the labs today because they didn't tell me what my white blood count was last week. They just said it's good enough, let's do the infusion. They came up about 3,000 points. So I was at 2,300, then I went to 3,200, and then last Tuesday they were 64 or 6,600. So still kind of below my normal, about 4,000 below my normal, because I am like on the dot between like 10, 5, and 11. And it's been like that for years and years and years, as long as they've been testing my white blood, like doing CBCs every month. So it's still a bit low. I don't feel it. I think I told you guys, those first 2 weeks afterwards, I felt like absolute garbage. It was such a bone deep exhaustion. Just like, it was just like I was lethargic. I couldn't get up and move around. I slept a ton. Like, I have never experienced tiredness like that before in my life. And I'd like to not do that again. I need a little bit of lip oil. My lips are so dry. That's probably a bad idea, but they're so dry. So I reached out to my neurologist. I think I mentioned that she's retiring. She was supposed to retire on the 31st of the month. She's retiring by next Wednesday. And I said, what can I take? What can we do to get my white blood count up? And her nurse wrote back and was like, you need to talk that over with the person who's prescribing whatever. And I wrote her back and said, it's because of the IVIG. That's the causation of the lower white blood count. I'm pissed. I was pissed. I don't like people, and maybe you can never really tell tone or whatever in written word, but it was condescending. It was blatantly condescending. So I wrote back, blatantly condescending, which is probably not the nicest thing to do, but you guys know it's a huge pet peeve of mine when someone treats me like I'm stupid or treats me like I don't know my body. So she wrote back and said nothing you can do, which is a load of bull fucking shit, because chemotherapy patients get something to raise their white blood count after chemotherapy. So I was like, you know what, just whatever. She's retiring next week. I will just talk to my primary care physician, and then I'll talk to my new neurologist next year and see what we can do. And maybe there's not a pill, but surely there's a shot or something that we can do or put with the IVIG that causes them not to go down so far. And I mean, so I have 2 days. So before it was 4 days. It was a 4-day loading dose. And going forward, it's just 2 days. So it's half the dose. So after I do this week, my doctor will run blood work on Monday. And depending on what my white blood count is, I will be like, listen, we got to do something, okay? I cannot go 2 weeks out of every month not being able to function. Like, that is the exact opposite of what this medicine is supposed to do. And if you're unfamiliar, IVIG is just antibodies through an IV. I haven't heard back if I can do subcutaneous. I mean, I haven't heard anything back at all. So I'm a little frustrated, but it's the end of the year. They're really busy. She's leaving, so I'm sure she's finishing up grading and classes and research and all that good stuff. So I'm trying to be not so persistent. Is that the right word? I don't know. So we did Thanksgiving, and I cooked Wes's chicken and dressing. I flipped mine up, way too much salt, and it was just too salty. And so I ended up having to dump it after I ate a little bit of it. And we made a ham. My brother came down, and he and Rob had pizza. This is the 3rd year in a row that we've had pizza for Thanksgiving, or they've had pizza for Thanksgiving. So I thought that was pretty funny. Well, of course, Boy wasn't here last year, but the year before that. He brought my nephew Boone. Oh my God, he's so cute. I love him so much. I held him, like, he slept on me 4 different times. I rocked him and he slept on me 4 different times. He would crawl to me and want me to pick him up off the floor. And I did all those things. Did I pay for it? Hell yeah. Do I regret it? No, not at all. I didn't want to be a broke Mimi. Mimi is what I call myself, like Aunt Mimi. But it's like, I didn't want to be broke Mimi. I just wanted to be regular Mimi. And I just wanted to love on my nephew and just feel normal for a few days. And I did, and I paid for it. And I'm going to do it again when they come for Christmas. So, yeah. Baby shark doo 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 doo, baby shark doo 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 doo, baby shark doo 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 doo, baby shark. Daddy shark doo 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 doo, daddy shark doo 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 doo, daddy shark doo 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 doo, daddy shark. Mimi shark doo 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 doo, Mimi shark doo 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 doo, Mimi shark doo 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 doo, Mimi shark. Baby shark doo 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 doo, baby shark doo 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 doo, baby shark doo 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 doo, baby shark. Benson baby, bounce, bounce, Benson baby. So that's kind of what's been going on as far as health. This appointment on December 13th is the last one that I have for the month. And then we start over in January. The good thing is, so before, like in November, the IVIG was before the infusion, the RA infusion, and that caused the issue. But now the schedule will be like my next infusion is January 25th, and my IVIG will be the 1st of February. So the infusion will be first, and then it'll be the IVIG. So hopefully that helps. But yeah, and we're going to Hamilton in the 1st of February, so it's like I don't want to feel like absolute dog shit while we're gonna go see Hamilton. So that's our anniversary gift to one another is going to go. Well, it's actually to me because Rob hates Hamilton, but he wants to go and he's the one that mentioned it. So yeah. So the last thing we need to talk about is keto. You guys know my number one, my blood sugar is out of control because I got a steroid. And the nurse was like, she wants to give you prednisone until your infusion. And I was like, no, thank you. And she's like, I was like, I'm diabetic. My blood sugars have already been running elevated. I was like, I don't need one more thing. So I switched over to Wegovy. I think we talked about that. So Wegovy is basically the same drug as Ozempic. It's just under a different brand name and marketed as a weight loss drug rather than a diabetic medication. I just started my higher dose on Saturday. So I went from 1.7 to 2.4. And it's a once a week injection. I could tell on Friday that the medication was wearing off because before that, like during the week, I can barely eat, like barely eat. And that Friday I went in to eat everything in the house. I was so hungry the whole entire day. And then I took it on Saturday and then I was fine. The issue is that when I have fat, or when I have something that's a bit fattier than what I've had, it gives me the poops. Sorry about that. And it's like now, if you've ever been on metformin, it's kind of the same thing. It's kind of the same thing where it's like, I gotta go now. Where's the bathroom? So I just, and I don't have a gallbladder, so that's not helping either. But I am concerned that I'm going to have to go off keto and I'm going to have to switch to more of a low carb way of eating rather than keto carnivore. I will say that I had half of a ribeye last night. It was probably about 6 ounces and that didn't bother me, but it's been rough. It's been real rough. So I honestly don't know what way of eating I'm going to start in 2022. Absolutely don't know. I'm going to, keep my carbs as low as I can, especially with this steroid, but we'll see. So and I'm not going to be $2.99 by the end of the year. I didn't even weigh today. I should have, but I didn't. Again, it doesn't matter how much mass I'm taking up. It was just a goal, kind of like an arbitrary goal, but if I'm not going to make it, I'm just not going to make it. But yeah, that's it. That's a lot, right? Yeah, that's a lot. So the Cliff's Notes version is, my white blood count came up some. It's about to be knocked down probably by the ivig. I see my regular doctor on Monday. My A1C is probably up a little bit. It was 8.5 at the endocrinologist, but my blood sugar's been high the last couple of weeks. It's 258 right now. So the last 90 days, it's about 8.7. I've been averaging about 227. So it's been elevated, and I think that might also be part of the ivig. I just don't know. So we'll find out. But yeah, I hope you had a safe, fun, happy Thanksgiving if you celebrated. I hope you're having a really good December. I know December is a hard month. The holidays are hard for a lot of people, including me. We're not putting up a tree. We're not decorating at all. Like I said, my brother and his girlfriend and Boone, the baby, will come down and he's crawling. And the last thing I want to do is try to make sure the 9-foot Christmas tree doesn't fall on his head. So we're going to not decorate for the next couple of years. Maybe we'll put up a little mini tree or something next year. But yeah, we're just going to, I haven't even decided what I'm going to cook. I hope I feel up to cooking. It's really just going to depend on my body and what it wants, what it's doing. Who knows? But anyway, thank you guys so much. I hope you're doing well. I don't know that I'll get to comments. I feel awful about that, but at the same time, it's like I can only do what I can do. And that's the thing. It's like if you're struggling and if you're out of spoons, you're out of spoons. Do what you can do. That's all any of us can do. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me. I love you. I hope you have I don't know that I'll talk to you guys before before Christmas. Maybe I will. I don't know. But if I don't, I hope you guys have a very happy holiday, whatever you celebrate. And yeah, I'll see you guys at some point in the next near future. I don't know. Bye for now.